Hello and welcome to Roleplay Rejects, where we play new and unusual tabletop role-playing games. In Side Quest, we're taking a break from our longer stories to play just a few sessions of some very unique role-playing games out there. So sit back and enjoy. Yeah.
There's this place in Connecticut, and I know because I was in Connecticut last weekend, called the Nordic. It is, if you like seafood, it is really fucking good. It's just a seafood buffet, but they like a seafood buffet. Like you can go up and they will just put on your plate an entire lobster, and you return to your table and you eat the entire lobster, and then you go back for another lobster, and you do this on loop for 2 hours.
That's
Or until you
wild.
get full, because you will probably get full like
Yes.
six, like at max 6 lobsters in. But
You're challenging me.
dude, I went.
6 lobsters
I entered and I got like a steak because I also wanted to try their steak, and it's like a seafood place, and the steak was fine, but it's like a lot heavier than seafood. So I was like, dude, I could eat so many more lobsters if I didn't have this steak. And they have everything. They have shrimp. They have crab legs too, if that's your thing. Like it was really really good.
I was at PAX East last month, and we went out one night and went to this lobster joint, and it was glorious. We had deep fried lobster. I'm gonna explain to you how good deep fried lobster is. I've only ever had it once before in Detroit.
I've never had it.
It's glorious. I just don't know how to describe it other than glorious. Deep fried lobster is the greatest thing ever.
Where is PAX East?
PAX East is in Boston.
Okay.
So East is in Boston. Unplugged is in Philly. I know like 2 other PAXs.
The PAX West is in. I have no idea actually, but I had
I
a
have no
Isn't it
idea.
coworker.
Seattle or something?
I think so. I had a coworker that went there, and I was really jealous. That's all I know.
Yeah.
But that coworker lives in Seattle, I think. So maybe it's in
I
Seattle.
was just in Seattle actually. I got back Friday.
You really?
Last Friday.
I was in Seattle last month, I think, for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I was
Seattle's
there,
cool.
I was there the last 3 weeks of last month.
Oh, wow. Maybe we walked by each other and had no idea.
It's a good possibility. I mean, I was wearing a cowboy hat the whole time, so it'd be
Oh,
kind
okay.
of hard not
Yeah, I
to
was gonna
notice
say,
me.
I'm sure I would have noticed. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Seattle.
Except the hills. I forgot how
It is
hilly
very
it was.
hilly, yeah.
I used
Seattle is hilly.
to live. I used to
Yeah.
live there as a child. I lived like a year as a child, and like all of Seattle is built on like the side of a hill of a massive, like not mountain, I guess, but like a massive hill. And like to go anywhere, like there was some steep hills.
It feels like you're always either walking uphill or downhill all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
It's so funny.
the sidewalks are like this. And you're like, beep, beep, beep. You make that sound as you walk.
But it makes it better with the rain.
I guess.
The
The
constant,
nonstop-
non-stop rain.
I was actually lucky the entire week I was there. It
unironically
didn't
love-
rain.
I was
love
there
the
for
rain.
20 days, I think it was, and then I think of the 20 days, 4 days were like nice and sunny.
Mhm.
Actually, one of my guys, he's new. He got depressed. He got legitimate like
Because the
depressed.
weather was,
Because
like, gray all the
he was-
time.
He was like really sad
Dang.
at the office, like sitting under the sun lamp. He sat on the sun lamp for like 3 hours and came back like all bubbly.
In a better mood. He was like, wow.
I don't know if it actually was that because of that of like the mentality of telling him to sit on the sun lamp will make you feel better, but he was much happier after that.
No, I've heard that like it actually gives like a good dose of vitamin D or whatever.
Vitamin
it
D.
is.
sun.
They're really it's really really good for vitamin D. And you can buy medically rated ones.
Oh, wow.
So
Damn.
definitely worthwhile, especially if you live in
Seattle.
dark gray weather.
Dark,
Yeah,
depressing.
Seattle.
Yeah.
Or Forks, Washington.
Is it also sad weather?
It's probably a little worse.
Dang.
I think that's why Stevie loves Twilight so much. It's just the reference there.
Oh, is that where it was filmed?
Mm-hmm.
I went there as a
That's
kid.
that.
It's where
So
that's where they
I
live.
sadly know a lot more information than I would like to about this. It was not filmed there, but it was set there because the writer, having never even gone there, just pretty much Googled, what is the saddest, most fucking depressing place known to mankind? And boom, Forks, Washington came up. So set the books there, and apparently after the writer wrote the first book, came and like actually saw it and was like, oh,
Yeah, this place is depressing.
Oh. What do you mean? Literally one stoplight in the entire town?
So I visited as a kid. I lived in, my dad was stationed in Jablam, Joint Base with McCord in Washington. And my grandma took us one weekend because my older sister was super obsessed. This was the time when the movies were just coming out.
Mhm.
And that whole town was overran by tourists and like tween girls. And
I
they
bet.
hated the whole thing. And we
Mhm.
drove by like the houses that they used for the outside shots. And there was massive fences up, like do not come inside. There was actually a sign in the restaurant, like if you're a tourist, do not come into my restaurant.
Yeah, it was
They,
a good
but not happy.
Yeah, it was a good amount of money coming in for the town, but
Oh, yeah.
it was fucking awful having the Twilight tour bus driving around town constantly, and then everything having like some kind of a Twilight section.
Yeah, especially for a town that small, I bet it's weird to get like a sudden
Yeah.
influx of
All the and tourists
every
of all
Twilight
people.
fan. Yeah,
And not regular tourists, like tween girls.
yeah,
and
obsessed
weird,
Twilight obsessed tourists.
I saw a TikTok actually of that the other day, and there was a gal who went to the house that it was filmed at, and there's a sign that says, we're not looking for visitors, and she still rang the doorbell, and the dude's like, there's a sign, like,
Mhm.
go away, this is our house.
That's insane.
And like people, I think that it's just that lack of awareness
yeah.
that tourists have. They're like, they just assume that they own the thing because they have seen the
I mean,
thing.
I can't get a selfie with you in your house that you live in. What?
Yeah, right?
Can I-
Weird.
Can I film the inside of your house, bro? No.
I need
No,
it
it's
for
okay.
the-
I've seen the movie.
I need it for the likes on the gram. Okay.
True. Yeah.
How else people supposed to know I did something in life? I don't get
Yeah,
the
I
likes
gotta-
on the gram.
I gotta prove it.
Pixar
Yeah.
didn't happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
I mean, I fucking guess. Yeah. But they apparently filmed it in like Oregon somewhere.
Oh,
That was
okay.
like a
Wow.
little bit closer to, I don't know, civilization.
Happiness.
Yeah.
Apparently.
No, it was, naturey. Before the whole Twilight craze, it was a bunch of like hunters or fishermen who would like come for, whatever season that they were going for.
Hmm.
Oh, I bet they loved having all the girls around screaming and scaring away the fish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
what
sure it
two
was
like-minded groups? Hunters and fishermen's, and then tween Twilight fans.
the crossover no one asked for.
Speaking of crossing over,
Yeah, that was a good segue, and I'm about to ruin it. Fucking
Good job,
Nova
but-
Roleplay Rejects.
oh,
Through the
right,
breach,
dude, I
crossing
didn't even
over?
go there. I was like, into the breach. That's where my brain was.
Okay, I mean,
But this is also
both,
a crossover.
yeah.
Yeah. Hello, listeners.
So is it technically a crossover of a crossover?
The Venn diagram, but like
Cross-
three of them.
meta crossover.
Crossception.
Cross sections. It's just two parallel lines at this point.
My line becomes one.
Anyways, as you know, because you, I don't know, probably read the title of this episode
And heard different voices.
and heard different voices, we are doing once again another Nova Open kind of like promotional episode with these two lovely individuals here. If you'd like to introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Jess. I work with the operations and a little bit of the admin side of Nova. Been here for 3 years, and it's been a fun adventure.
I'm Kyron. I also work with Nova. I do a lot of the operations side of the house, and I've been with Nova. I have to do math. 13 years plus
Dang.
or minus a
Dang.
year. Been here since the beginning.
So if you don't know, Nova Open is a convention held in Washington, D.C. It will be, what are the dates for it?
August 27th to 31st, so Labor Day weekend.
Labor Day weekend. They host all sorts of things. A lot of it being like war games of things like BattleTech, Malifaux, of course, Warhammer, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Kill Team. I think they're having Trench Crusade as well.
We have a big Trench Crusade event this year. We have a campaign going, a couple of small other Trench Crusade events, and some people from the Trench Crusade company are coming out, and they're doing a kind of release. So they have a whole like room set up, and they're gonna be talking minis. You get to talk to some of the creators, a whole big thing.
Oh, nice.
Nice. And they also have role-playing games.
Whoa.
Yes.
Yay. Tabletop.
Tabletop role-playing games also being hosted there. It's been growing pretty steadily over the past several years since we've been attending. Not to brag or anything, but it's probably because of us. But as part of the promotion for the role-playing games that are hosted there, we are going to be playing one kind of related to one of the war games presented there. Malifaux has their own role-playing game called Through the Breach. And holy crap, the lore is insane. But before we get to that, any other things that you guys would like to plug? Any like special events, special things happening at Nova this year?
So we have a lot of special stuff going on. The best thing to do is to go look at the website and go see what's going on yourself at novaopen.com. But on the note of RPGs growing, this year we're at just shy of 100 different RPG events for the weekend,
Nice.
which is massive. Because remember, we started out years ago with 10 or 15 only D&D like 5e stuff, and now we have Call of Cthulhu. We have we have Pathfinder. We have the Fallout RPG is going on. It's a bunch of one-offs, everything. Fate is a really big one this year. We have a lot of different stuff, and it's very exciting to see the growth, both vertical and horizontal, of the game. The other two big things we have going on this year is so we gave $70,000 to charity.
Nice.
So for those who don't know, majority of Nova's profits go to charity, and that's been a thing since we started in 2009. All the money we make goes to charity. This year we gave $70K, and the goal is to give more next year. We're growing every year. Last year we had a little over 3,500 people with a goal of at least 4,000 this year, which will make us the largest tabletop con on the East Coast.
Dang.
I wish I could say this side of Mississippi, but Adepticon's still on this side of Mississippi for now.
Soon.
But let's see. The other big thing is the other event that's growing rapidly besides RPGs is painting competitions, cap palette. Last year we had 1,000 entries, and we ran out of room in the cases. Like we had to move some stuff to fit them in. This year we had to buy 2 new cases to hold minis. And I know you guys are starting to get into the painting thing. I've seen some of that on your Instagram. So maybe you guys could get something painted by Nova. Is there something in the competition?
Possibly. I don't know if anything that I paint is competition worthy because it's literally just wash and a prayer. But I'm hoping to get up to that level at some point in the future.
Well, if you want to get to that level, we have classes. Lots of classes. And from artists all over the world. We have a lot of artists from Poland coming this year, Eastern Europe. And it's going to be a lot of fantastic and good artists and good classes.
And just a neat note with that too is Capital Palette does this really cool thing after the award ceremony, and you can actually meet with some of the award-winning artists who are teaching the classes, who are involved with Capital Palette, and then they'll actually take a look at your model and help you and kind of give you tips and tricks and things like that. The Capital Palette guys and gals are super supportive of the painting hobby, really want to teach, really want to help learn and hone your craft. And so it's definitely, even if you're not certain about entering, definitely worthwhile to do and see what you can potentially learn from some of the people that are around. So
yeah, so we're going to be you mentioned Fallout, and I am going to be running some of the Fallout games, some Imperium Maledictum games again this year. About like one of each a day throughout the whole weekend. So definitely hop in. Each of them are going to be like a unique individual one shot. So if you played in the day before's, the next one is going to be different. Beyond that, I know that Joseph is going to be running some Call of Cthulhu, I believe.
Yeah, and Misty will be running Zombicide.
And you're even running some.
I'm running Nova, not to be confused with the Nova Open. It's a mech TTRPG where you get to be a spark pilot, the mechs are called Sparks, and you get to do super cool stuff under the light of the broken moon. It's sick.
It's really rad, and also I just think it's fun to play Nova at Nova.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really funny.
I dig it.
Yeah. And we'll have links to the Nova website and like where to get tickets and everything all spelled out in the episode description. So yeah, feel free to look there. But without further ado, are we ready to get into it? Get Malifaux through that there Galdern breach.
Malifaux through the breach.
Yeah.
Yes.
let's go.
Nice.
There we go. All right. So this is Through the Breach, and much like its war game counterpart, it uses no dice. Instead, it uses a standard poker deck. So just the standard 54 cards, because it is including both the red and black Joker involved in there. When we come across any kind of an action, we will draw from this center communal fate deck. This fate deck will then have a, whatever card number is on there. In the case of like the face cards, a jack is worth 11, queen worth 12, king worth 13.
Mhm.
And aces in this case worth 1. If you ever pull the black joker, that is the worst possible result, and horrible things will happen. If you ever pull the red joker, that is the best possible result. Only good things will happen to you, surely. As we move along through this game, you'll have different skills on your character sheets. You should be able to see that you have aspects. Those are the top 8 skills on your character sheet. So might, grace, speed, and resilience. These are all physical kinds of stats. Whereas charm, intellect, cunning, and tenacity are all mental stats. You will combine these with one of your skills denoted in the box just below. So, for instance, this character, Shimoda, actually, has a might of 1 and an athletics of 1. So if we were doing an athletics-based test, we would combine those two together to get
2.
and
Wow.
we would add that to whatever card we draw from the Fate deck. If it reaches the target number, you do the thing. If you manage to get 5 above the target number, you do the thing really well. If you get 5 below the target number, you don't do the thing, and you don't do the thing really badly.
I love it.
We'll kind of jump more into how like damage and things work as we go along, but for right now, I feel the need to ask the question: how familiar are you all with the world of Malifaux?
-37.
Okay.
Wow.
Got here at -37. -37.
I think I'm at least a 1.
A 1.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've read the back of one of the books. I was like, oh, nice.
Okay. Yeah.
Still further along than me.
I bought and painted the minis, and I played 3 games, so a 1 maybe.
Okay. I'll 1.5 probably.
Okay, I'll take it.
I do know the preface of like siphoning magic from another world is somewhere
Yeah.
involved in Malifaux. That's about like the extent of my knowledge, and they have a lot of different factions.
Yes. I'm going to give probably the worst description of the extensive amount of lore in this game. So, once upon a time, there's this world called Malifaux. There's this world that the humans will dub Malifaux, but for now, it's an unnamed world. There's like magic and shit going on, kingdoms. Because there's magic and shit and there's kingdoms, that means that there's kings. And these kings learn magic and shit.
Makes
And
sense.
the kings gather more magic and more power. And what happens when you have all-powerful god kings? You get
World peace.
all-powerful... Yeah, definitely, world peace. You get tyrants. They are thus dubbed tyrants and start, just being the worst entities in all of existence. So all of the collective people of this untitled world, they all gather together and are like, all right, let's fucking kill those tyrants. So they try and do that. But you can't really kill them because they have like astral projection as permacast. So they killed their like physical bodies, but their spirits kind of got like sent away. Some got like imprisoned in some like asteroid. Some got scattered to the winds, and they just literally exist as wind now.
Jeez.
Other ones got sent through different dimensions, and some of which arrived at Earth.
Yippee.
So, let's shift over to what Earth is doing. Earth is doing the normal thing, just kind of vibing along until a specific time that I do feel is like kind of important. 1787. If I'm remembering this correctly. Yeah. 1787 AD Earth time. The Great Breach is what it is called. And that is when a bunch of wizards and mages and shamans and whatever else you would call them in various different cultures on Earth, all kind of gathered together in Santa Fe,
California.
New
New
Mexico?
Mexico.
Oh, is there a Santa Fe, California, or am I crazy?
You're talking San Jose.
Okay, because I'm also really bad at geography. So I thought I was like, I have no idea if this is right.
I thought Seattle was flat, so clearly we're all learning things today.
It's an educational podcast, always has been.
Oh,
When they all kind of arrived, they were like, hey, the magic in this world is kind of going away, and that really sucks. So let's gather all of our power here at this spot where there's like kind of a thinner bit of the veil and see what happens. So they do that. A lot of them die, but suddenly, boom, the breach is created.
yippee.
They start going around through there and exploring. They find this big city that's completely abandoned, and thus they dub it the city of Malifaux. In the world of Malifaux. So, yeah, really, really unique names there. But they start exploring around. They have like several years of like growth in this new area. They're starting to find these magical gems called soul stones that have crazy magical powers. And it's not just for like wizardy kinds of shit, but there's some like nerds who are going there and trying to use it for their like steamwork automatons and a bunch of stuff like that. So eventually the natives to Malifaux, at this point they're, I believe, the Neverborn. They have a whole bunch of other lore that we're not going to get into today. But they are like, you know what I hate? These Galdarn humans trying to come in and colonize the place. Let's kill them off and close the breach. And they do that. So, back on the other side, on Earth, everyone's like, oh, what the fuck? All the soul stones that we've been like transferring over here so that then we get like magical powers. Now there's like a cap. There's a limit to the amount. What happens when a bunch of people start panicking? A bunch of people in high government offices start panicking. War, baby.
War cells, baby.
So, a world war happens well before the actual world wars happen. We're talking like 1800s kind of era. Wars happening, but all along the Illuminati, no, the Guild, is starting to do a bunch of conspiracy kinds of stuff and hoarding soul stones and starting to like get government individuals on their side until eventually they pretty much have all the soul stones and thus have all of the power on Earth. Using their newfound influence, they're like, hey, remember how we sacrificed how all those like wizards died to open the breach? Let's do it again. So they manage to open the breach. They go to the world of Malifaux and find, oh, everybody's dead. Or I guess, because they can't find like any bodies there. It was, decades later. So all the people who were trapped on that side probably just, died horrible deaths. But at this point, the Guild is kind of like laying claim and heavily constraining what can and cannot happen in Malifaux. And what happens when you have an oppressive group and a bunch of convict labor?
World peace?
World peace, yeah. No, it's smugglers start happening. Unions actually start to arise. You have people who manage to, some like socialites who are starting to like come in and not necessarily follow the guild's rules because they're noble kind of a vibe, slowly rattling the guild. So the guild is kind of in charge, quote unquote, but there's all these other factions that also have some pretty heavy influence. The Arcanists, for instance, are part of the Union of Convicts. They started to these convicts would work in the mines getting these soul stones, and the Union kind of came about and started to protect some of those convicts who suddenly had magical powers. So they have their own like little magical army. Other people, some like real fucking weirdos, started going down into the sewers when then they discovered that they can like do necromancy stuff. And they start doing necromancy stuff, hence the resurrectionists. Then you have our heroes, the protagonists, really, the gremlins out in the bayou, who are just trying to brew some moonshine and raise some pigs.
Yes.
Damien plays that faction
Yeah.
when we play Malifaux.
Let's see. Then there is a secondary portal that opened up that is being kept really hidden. This is coming out from China to Malifaux, where another faction, the Ten Thunders, are kind of like coming in and starting to set up their own power and control. And all of this has kind of made it this. I don't want to say a time bomb because there are active like skirmishes between these different factions, but it is like a very volatile kind of a world that we find ourselves in. The current year would be 1907. The highlight is that the old leader of the guild tried to ascend to godhood, and a spirit of a tyrant tried to piggyback off of him. And what ended up happening is that guild guy and the tyrant kind of fused souls, and now floating above Earth and causing all sorts of weird shit to happen is the Burning Man. So that's going on, and that's really cool. There are like some cults to tyrants going on in Malifaux, and there's this like physical entity of death called the Grave Spirit who is starting to teach these resurrectionists a bit more about necromancy. It's all just a bit fucked at the end of the day. And you all are going to be playing as characters, hopping aboard the train, about ready to go and start your own life in Malifaux.
Wow, excitement.
Which can be kind of interesting because all that they have is the main city of Malifaux, and then a few like smaller towns kind of on the outskirts, but it's in no way fully colonized. There's untold treasures, artifacts, relics. There's land if you're wanting to do homesteading kinds of stuff. There's monsters if you're all about the smoke. There's like all sorts of stuff going on. So there's plenty of different reasons that people might want to go there. With that, are we ready to begin? Does anyone have any questions about the fucking wild lore that is Malifaux?
Why do I have 2 height?
So this is kind of a carryover from the wargame, where you don't have like a physical inches measurement. You have a height value. So all humans are height 2.
Okay.
What if you're a tiny human, like a 5-year-old child? Are they height 2?
A child would probably be height 1 and can hide behind height 1 or height 2 obstacles a bit easier.
That makes sense.
I see.
That way you don't have to be all like, well, technically I'm only 5.5 inches.
But
so,
I can see you. I can see your little hat. Yeah. That makes sense, actually.
So just give it, assign it a number, smooth it over after. It's fine. With that, do we want to... do we have any questions about your characters or anything like that before we actually for realsies start?
No, not for me right now. I'm sure I'll have a million as we get started.
Yeah, I do just want to throw out the disclaimer. Damien already mentioned it, I think, but we're using pre-gen characters that like have like associated backstories and like would come up in later like one-shots from our collection of one-shots. We, the players, reserve the right to disregard as much of that as we want. So if you ever play Shimoda Naizen and go, that's not how Wesley said, get over it.
Sounds like a you problem.
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
Let's go.
Yee.
Built upon the ruins of Santa Fe, Breach Town is the very picture of a fortified rail station. The Guild's rail station is one of the larger buildings in town, and after hours of standing outside in the arid heat, you've finally been cleared by security and allowed to board the train that will take you to Malifaux. Despite the almost suffocating heat of the day, the interior of the train is surprisingly cool. As you walk down the aisle in search of your seat, you almost imagine what you can see, or also, you almost imagine that you can see your breath clouding up in front of you. You're finally able to find your bench-like seat at the front of the third car. The seat ahead of you has been turned around to face your own. If there had been a table between you, you might almost be able to imagine that you were seated at a booth in a diner. As you settle into place alongside the other passengers sharing your booth, you can't help but notice a set of deep scratch marks set into the wall above your booth. Were they not cut deep into steel, it would almost be possible to imagine that these scratches were claw marks. So, you all come in, sit down in your seats, and for whatever reason, you three all have the same booth. Would we like to describe what our characters might look like?
I'm never ready for this question. Every time I'm always like, I know my name, and then you go, what do they look like? And I go, fuck.
I didn't realize there was going to be a test.
I know. Oh gosh, oh heck. This is the first pause in every game we play. It's like, how do you look?
Like a human.
Like a guy. I'm height 2.
If you want inspiration, you could think like old Western movies or like some steampunk kind of vibes. You could do maybe some like more culturally accurate, like Japanese or Chinese kind of attire. Yeah, it's really open to whatever you want it to be.
I imagine Shimoda with, I'm playing Shimoda. I imagine Shimoda with like short black hair. Did you say the 10 Thunders was from China or Japan?
It's most the portal's in China, but I believe that their members are also kind of Japanese as well.
Okay.
They might even be Korean.
Okay.
Kind of like
So that general
region.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, short black hair. He probably wears like not super restrictive clothes. All my characters wear not super restrictive clothes. But he does have tattoos on his arm that I haven't decided what they are yet, but they're part of his backstory and I like that part. But they're also magic tattoos. Which I'm sure like I don't know if they have like a special look, but like
If you want them to.
they look magical.
Okay.
And yeah, he wears like kind of like better quality clothes, I guess. Like not exactly like you can tell like he's decently well funded.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. He carries a sword and a grimoire.
Okay. For you specifically, the guild does frown upon spellcasting unless it is of like 2 specific schools, which you are not.
He carries a sword and does not have a grimoire hidden on his person.
Oh yeah. Definitely not
Yeah.
hidden. Yeah.
So for Celine, I kind of picture her as kind of a fair skin, freckles with long curly red hair, and kind of a traveler style clothing, comfortable but maneuverable. She wears a belt where she's got some of her gear stored rather than carrying like a bag or a purse. And then I am carrying a pump action, and I've got some rune spectacles that I use in specific situations.
Interesting. Okay.
And I will always be seen with a book.
Nice.
I have Thomas Washington, goes by Jefferson. No relation to Thomas Jefferson, by the way. Son of a surgeon, bad boy wannabe, basically a young Clint Eastwood.
Okay, gotcha.
You can imagine a young Clint Eastwood. That existed at one point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboy, dual-wielding revolvers,
Nice.
and a duster, and a cowboy hat. So
Dang it.
he looks like a cowboy from the inner city of New York, like New York City. But
New York City cowboy. All right.
exactly.
Good shit.
Isn't there actually a New York City cowboy that plays guitar running around?
Wait, is there?
I'm
Yeah,
pretty
he's
sure-
naked.
Yeah.
Except for like
Oh my
a
god.
thong. But he's like a 6-pack, on steroids.
New York's a weird
I
place.
was gonna say, what a wild concept, a New York City cowboy.
I don't have my guy's not wearing a thong.
Okay. Thank you
He's
for the
wearing
clarification.
to
Yeah.
clarify, he's wearing a dust to the cowboy hat.
Yeah.
And the thong, of course, yeah.
It really completes
That
the
comes in
ensemble.
later.
Awesome. So you all sit down then and are slowly kind of like interrupted as you're, I don't know, maybe staring at each other. I don't know if you're speaking at this point in time. But you are starting to see more passengers filter into or onto the train as the temperature inside the train car gradually begins to rise to match the temperature outside. Just when it starts to become uncomfortable, you hear the conductor shut the doors and start walking up the aisle to help the last of the passengers stow their luggage. The passenger across the aisle from you, a thin, hunched man in his late 60s, seems to be having trouble getting his suitcase up into the overhead compartment. It's almost twice as large as he is, and you can see the frustration and embarrassment etched on his face as he struggles with his oversized trunk. What would you like to do?
I will stand up and offer to help him.
Okay. With that, then, I would like you to give me a athletics test.
First check of the
Or
game, baby.
it's not tests; these are duels that we're doing
I'm
because
dueling
Old
my
Western.
athleticism. Okay, so 3. And
It is a target number 8, and at this point, I would like each of you to draw 3 cards from your own personal twist deck. When we end up playing this game again on the podcast, I can go into further detail about what the twist deck means and how it's constructed. But effectively, these cards are cards that you can use to cheat fate. The fate deck will present you a card, and if you'd like, you can spend one of the cards in your hand and replace the card from the fate deck, effectively changing what would normally be. What is this?
A 3.
The 3 of
3, and I have
mass.
to add. What do I have to add?
5.
Your might and your athletics.
Yes.
Might -2.
Oof.
Yeah. I don't have athletics. Oh, am I blind?
It's in the skills box.
If you don't have any points in athletics, or if athletics is not listed in the skills box, then it's a big old
0.
0.
Yeah,
from
I
you.
got. Yeah,
You got a 1. You
got a
need 8.
1.
Okay, yeah, you need an 8
But
on
does
that.
does that mean you can pull one of your
Yeah, you
twist
could
deck
cheat.
cards?
I'll
Yeah.
save those for later.
Okay.
Cool.
With that, then you fail to help him. As you're trying to also manage this oversized bit of luggage, it's kind of at an awkward angle where it needs to be like perfectly in line to slide in. But because it's just barely tipping up, it's not actually fitting because the corner is a little bit weird and it's just not fitting in there correctly until finally the conductor seems to push you to the side and help a bit. He's also seems to be struggling, but finally manages to get it, and then sits the man down.
I go sit back in my seat, slightly ashamed and embarrassed.
It's the thought that counts.
I tried.
At this point, despite all the passengers now being in place, the train doesn't seem to be moving. You can hear murmurs from the people behind you, some wondering what the holdup is, and others simply complaining about how warm and stuffy the train has become. A few people try to open the windows only to find them bolted shut.
Jeez.
The man across the aisle, the one that you attempted to help, leans over and addresses you in an awkward half whisper. "They're loading up the convicts," he explains, obviously a bit nervous by the idea. The guild needs them to work in the mines, you know. Well, most of them. He's suddenly interrupted by the piercing scream of a steam whistle, and the train slowly lurches to life, causing you all to kind of fall back into your seats. The passengers behind you sigh with relief, and the old man leans back in his chair and favors you with an awkward smile. "Here we go. Good luck."
Thank you, Grandpa.
The wheels begin turning, the train gradually picking up speed as it makes its turn toward the breach. As the train rounds a turn, you can see it in view. It looks almost like a Mercury puddle suspended in air between these large steampunk-looking devices, arcing electricity between one another, surrounding the perimeter of this like shimmering lake-looking thing almost. Some kind of like a silvery blue sort of a liquid just suspended there. As you are moving along, you are seeing that there are dozens of soldiers stationed all around it in defensive formations, many of them sweating beneath their red and gray guild uniforms. Without slowing down at all, the train plunges through the portal. And as the first and second car disappear into the shimmering silver blue portal one after the next, your car is right behind them. And from your perspective, the glowing light almost seems to be rushing through the train like a tidal wave. As you plunge into the dimensional rift, an intense feeling of vertigo assaults your head, triggering an intense headache, the likes of which you've never felt before. The pain only lasts for a moment, but when you open your eyes, you and the people seated next to you, being you three, are the only ones on the train. Everyone else, passengers behind you, the old man sitting in the aisle across from you, everyone else gone. Brilliant silver blue light spills into the train car from the windows, and whenever you try to glance out the windows, it only seems to bring back the stabbing pain in your head. It's then that you realize that the train isn't just empty, it's still and silent. There's no click-clack of the wheels against the rails, no rumbling from the engine, just silence. The strange scratching sound that you suddenly hear coming from the trunk that the old man was trying to put up.
That old man's an asshole.
Goddamn old people.
What would you like to do?
I'm gonna try to go get the trunk.
Real fast. When no one's there, is the luggage there? The clothes there? Is this like body snatchers thing with like, the clothes? And
It
everything
doesn't
lying
look
up?
like Rapture-esque of the clothes being like
Okay.
left there. It seems like their form and anything they carried on them gone.
Even the luggage up top.
Luggage, as it was not carried by them, does still remain.
Yeah, because anything that was
Losing
on the
later.
person.
Got it.
was
Yeah,
completely
anything
gone.
that was like on their person,
Mhm.
just gone.
Okay.
I start going through their luggage, trying to see if there's anything we can use.
Oh, nice, $1.
Okay.
Mhm.
You are still hearing this like
I am going for that.
scratch kind of a sound coming from that old man's trunk. But you're going for that. You're searching through just anyone's luggage.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. And what would you like to do?
I'm gonna check my weapons and make sure everything's locked and loaded.
Okay. With that, then, I'm going to give you the focused condition.
Okay.
Focused 1. What this is going to mean is you can spend it during the next, when we start combat. You can spend Focused 1 to get basically advantage on your draws from the Fate deck. So you'll draw 2, and you get to pick which one you keep. You are starting to dig through people's luggage. I am going to need some kind of a check from you. I'm thinking a notice check. So let's do cunning plus notice.
Okay, so I have 2 cunning and 1 notice.
Nice.
So then I need to
you'll
draw
flip-
a card, correct?
Yeah,
Correct.
you'll flip a card and add 3.
3. So I got 6.
6. Okay. With that, then, I'm thinking like varying degrees of success on here. So, with a 6, you manage to find it's a bunch of like, some dresses. You're seeing like some jackets, extra pair of boots, but you do find 2 guild scrip, which is like the guild's money, basically, and the primary source of quote unquote income for the world of Malifaux. So you find 2 guild script.
I'm going to throw those in my pocket before anybody sees them.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, without any difficulty, you just managed to pocket him really quick in like one of the layers of your traveler's attire. And you are investigating the trunk.
Yeah, is it like planes? I've never been on a train. Is it like you have the overhead compartment, you open it, you shove stuff in, you close it?
It is, but there's no like open or close.
Okay,
Kind
it's
of a
just
thing
up
there.
there.
It's just
just kind
bars.
of
Mhm.
bars.
Okay, so I would like just grab it out and try to open it then.
Yeah, but
Okay.
you probably pull it out and put it on the seat.
Yeah.
And
As you reach up there, you do notice that on the trunk it says Sessa the Amazing. Kind of like as some sort of like
Embroidery almost.
embroidery
Yeah.
on the luggage itself. But yeah, you managed to slide it out and set it down right next to you when all of a sudden, tearing through the part of the top of the luggage, 3
Count them.
puppets,
Oh.
like wooden
hard pass.
marionette.
Yeah, I was just
I want off this
hate
train.
puppets.
You can see that they are connected to strings, but the strings aren't like floating above them, moving them. They seem to be animate all on their own. And each of them, in the creepy kind of a style with the head like half turned, start like sliding over to each of you and then begin charging. Let's get into initiative.
I have seized the day. Shimoda gains card with a plus to his initiative flips.
That means advantage.
Yeah, so we do draw fate for initiative as
Yes.
well. Cool. Well, nice. Cool. And I get +2, so I have 12 to my initiative. I'll put my cards on this side because I'm special.
So we should draw 2 now.
You each draw 1. I have advantage on initiative, so I drew 2.
Yeah. If you want to spend your focused, okay.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm doing real good. That ace.
Oh, nice. Give me just a moment here. There they are. Okay.
As much as I don't want to use my shotgun, I might have to.
All right.
Shotgun down.
So
Puppets.
let's start with you, Mr. Jefferson.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna blast the
No,
nearest.
your
Oh,
initiative total.
your initiative
Oh,
total.
10.
10. Okay. Celine.
1.
All right. Well, I'm putting that all. You don't have any
You
bonuses.
don't have any
to initiative.
bonuses?
It would be just under your aspects of like might, grace, speed, resilience, and all that. Just below that, you'll see your defense, your walk speed, height, initiative.
At the
Oh,
bottom
-1. So I have 0.
Oh, well, let's
Nailed
just put
it.
you just a little bit further back then. Shimoda,
Total of 12.
total of 12. Okay, so our initiative order then shall be Shimoda, then Jefferson, then the puppets, and finally Celine. So, starting with Shimoda, we're now at this point in what's called dramatic time.
Bum bum bum.
In dramatic time, this is when, each second matters, and each of you will gain 2 action points to use on your turn. There are quite a few actions. I was not able to find a good cheat sheet for this, so I can tell you just generically the kinds of actions that you can do. So, of course, there is just simply walking. That does take an action point, but then you can move your walk speed up to, wherever. Do keep in mind that if you leave engagement range of one of these entities, they will try and attack you. But the walk speed is also measured in yards. So effectively, like Shimoda, you have a walk speed of 4, so you can move 4 yards comfortably.
Okay.
You can spend 2 action points to run. So this is going to be your walk plus your athletics skill. And that's how far you can move. Probably not useful for most. You can drop prone if you want, stand up from prone, just generic things like that. You can assist, cast spells, take a defensive stance. You can try and focus for an action point. So that would be like, readying your attack, really trying to make sure that you get a solid strike in. Reload your weapons, stuff like that. And then finally there is like strikes or casting spells. Strikes would be just with a readied weapon. So 1 action point to attack with a melee weapon, shoot with a pistol, something like that. There is also a charge where you can move your charge. You spend both action points. You can move your charge number, and then you get 2 free attacks effectively on the target of your charge. Yeah, and that is pretty much it. So, Shimoda, what would you like to do?
Coolio, I want to start with. When we discard cards, those are from our twist deck.
Correct. Well, specifically from your hand
Yes.
that you pulled.
Oh yeah, how often we don't draw unless we're told to draw, right?
Correct. You
Okay.
draw 3 at the start, and then you have to. Each of you should have something on there that tells you when you can, quote, draw a card. So for Shimoda, it is when you fail a magic duel. For Celine, it is when you fail a social duel. And good old Thomas Jefferson Washington, it is when you fail a ranged combat duel that you draw a card. So kind of helping for if you're falling behind, you're going to get some extra cards to try and balance you out a little bit.
And what is AV on these abilities?
Attack value, aspect value. It's the number that you're going to add to whatever you flip from the Fate deck.
Okay. So those goes towards the target number.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Then I'm just gonna try to hit one of these puppets with my sword.
Okay. So the target number for this, because it is a sword going against defense, 10.
Oh. That's not as good as I thought it was gonna be.
Now they are height 1, so they're a little bit tougher to deal with.
So all the things I asked of this are my AV and my melee and my might, or just my AV, my melee? Or...
Just your AV should be your melee and might.
Oh, okay.
The AV should be auto-calculated kind of on there.
I failed.
Failed?
I'm gonna do it again.
Okay.
Unless you have interaction.
No. There's no interaction for just a regular failure.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
I'll do it again. Nice. J's are 11.
Yes.
Yeah.
Plus 3 is 14.
14. All right, that makes it, and that means that we are going into the damage flip. So because this game's a little bit
Quirky.
quirky. Yeah, I think quirky is what we're going to go for. We are going to look and see how well you succeeded there. So the target number was 10. You got a 14. Because that is only a difference of 1 to 5, you are going to flip from the Fate deck twice and take the lower of the 2.
Okay. Womp. Oh, man. Womp. 3 and 2, so 2.
A 2, all that means then is that you dealt weak damage to
Which
this
is
individual.
The first of the 3 numbers.
Yes.
Okay.
So each of you should have a series of numbers next to damage. So for instance, your sword deals 2, 3, 4. So if it is a weak hit, you deal the lowest number there. A moderate hit would be the center number there, and a severe hit would be the last number in that section there. This is supposed to help promote if you get a solid hit and you have a difference of like, on here it says 11 or more, you would get to basically draw with advantage on your damage. So it makes your hits matter more than just rolling, beating target number, that kind of thing.
Cool. That is my turn.
Okay.
Wait. Never mind. Don't wait. That is my turn.
All right. With that, then, Jefferson, what would you like to do? There are 3 of these guys. One of them has been damaged slightly.
How many action points do we have?
2.
2 action
2.
points. Okay. I'll draw my pistols. I have quick draw, so that it's a 0, so I can just draw. And then I'm gonna start blasting
All right.
at the wounded one, or the second damage one.
Yeah.
So I need, you said 8.
A 10. Well, Let's see. That is going to be against the defense value, I believe.
What does the AV on my pistol mean? AV +5?
You'll add that to whatever you draw.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why. Okay, I thought so.
Yeah. Resistance, defense. Yeah. So 10 is the target number.
All right, and then
Is-
AV +5 plus the 5 I have makes 10.
Does
Okay.
meat beat?
Meat does beat.
Nice.
Do keep in mind, though, that if you are tied, you're going to have to draw 2 additional cards and take the lowest of all 3 for the damage.
Mm.
Okay.
So just draw 3 really big numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
easy.
I draw 3.
Yeah.
Uno.
Dang. Lowest is 2.
Lowest is 2.
Lowest is 2. That is going to be a weak hit.
Now I have Ricochet. It says after damaging another character in 3 yards suffers 1, 2, 3 damage. This damage flip cannot be cheated.
Oh.
I don't
Okay.
know. I don't know how we decide who gets hit.
So that ricochet would apply if the suit of your attack was a masks.
Mass or
Masks or
Diamonds.
diamonds.
Ah, okay. I don't
Yeah.
think I had a diamond there. Nope.
So a lot of this game is going to be kind of revolving not just about the numbers, but about the suit
Yep,
specifically.
I remember that. Okay. And for my second action, I'm gonna start blasting again.
All right, yeah. Oh, sorry. How much damage did the initial thing do?
2 is the lowest. It's
2.
2, 3, 4.
Would you like to describe your kill of this first puppet?
Oh, it's kill? Headshots right through the head. I
Nice.
find double rounds, so I'm assuming 1 round missed. The other round goes like right above the left eye, and this wooden puppet's head just explodes.
You can almost slow motion see the round twirling towards this puppet as then the camera kind of pans over to the puppet's face that is painted to be kind of like this over jovial kind of a face, like happy. The mouth is currently hanging open as then round just goes in and shards.
that was a good
wood.
sound.
Thank you.
Quality.
Only the best.
With that, though, you do still have your second action point if you'd like to fire again.
Yep. Draw. I get a 10
Plus 5 is 15.
plus 50. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is 5 over.
Is 5 over. Yeah. So you're sadly you are still gonna have to flip 2 and take 1 the lowest, but
That is sad. Oh, does it need to be over 5?
yeah, a difference of 6 to 10 is when you get no modifier.
I should have used my plus. Can I? Too late to use my free. Would it be too late to use my free action you gave me? My free extra card, or would that add to that, or would that just pick 1 or 2?
The focus.
The focus.
The focus, yeah. If you where are you wanting to use that?
If I on the 10. So if I was to take the focus, would those add together, or would I just pick the highest?
You pick the highest.
Oh, that's not gonna. I'm not gonna risk it for the bat biscuit.
Okay. You can use your focus on the damage if you'd like, though.
So I just pull a third, or I pick.
If you already drew 2, then it's probably too late.
Okay, I did
Effectively, it
draw
would
2.
have canceled out.
So you would have just drawn 1?
Drawn 1.
Oh,
yeah.
that's a shame.
Now we know.
Now we know, yeah.
Okay.
What'd you get on this one?
I got an 8 and a 5. So 5 being the lowest.
So that is going to be a weak 2 damage on that one. Fire off, it shatters part of this puppet's kind of like torso midsection. The first one was jovial. This one is supposed to be the picturesque form of sadness. You can see the drawn on tears kind of like on the side of its face, a large kind of like more open mouth that looks like kind of like a whale. Not the animal, but like when you're
When
crying
you're
really
crying.
loud.
Yeah. I was like, whale.
And then the last one is probably the least effort puppet you've ever seen.
Standard NPC puppet.
Well, we're talking like the
Like
eyes are
Forky?
literally 2 lines, just kind of like black drawn in.
Nice.
The mouth is 1 straight
Mhm.
line across.
That puppet is my soul.
It's giving real Forky vibes from Toy Story.
Yeah, with that, it's the puppet's turn. The great thing is that I don't have to flip anything. It's all on you. So we're going to have the first puppet. I mean, Mr. Thomas Jefferson himself in the flesh, just shot at one of them. So that one is going to rush up to you and attempt to attack for a value of 9.
Okay.
What you are going to do is flip a card and add your defense value, trying to resist this attack.
What do I need?
9.
9.
I
Good.
have +3 defense on 9 on the dot.
Easy enough.
No damage.
No damage.
Cool.
Parried.
Meat beats is always in favor of the player.
I kick him back a little bit as he goes for the swing. He just stumbles back an inch.
Stumbles back, kind of falls onto his back, and then creepily like picks himself up and kind of like more of a crab.
I also
sort of a
yell,
walk.
"Bad puppet, bad." Stay down.
Perfect. With that, then the other marionette was always going after you, Celine, and will rush over and try and not necessarily in kind of like claw sort of a form, but with his straight eyes, a completely expressionless face, is going into a boxing stance and is
Oh,
going to start punching.
a boxer puppet.
I'm going to need you to make a defense flip.
Okay.
Target number 9.
No, that's plenty more
Nailed a
than 9.
king.
Oh, well, shit. Easy.
Good.
Easy.
Yeah, but I went from an ace the first time to
Oh,
a king
true.
now.
We play on
let's
extremes.
be- let's
True,
be
true,
let's be
yeah.
real. It's not gonna last.
I mean, I don't know. Kind of like just going extremes all the way through. It's fun. Yeah, goes and tries to punch into you, but it's almost comical as you just sidestep, and his momentum carries him a little too far forward, stumbles, hits
I-
into one of the chairs.
Can I Sparta kick him in the back as he goes?
It is your turn now, absolutely.
But that wouldn't do necessarily any damage, though.
Well, we could flavor your hunting knife as a kick.
Let's do that.
Knife on the boot.
Yep,
Oh,
I like it. So I'm gonna pull my knife out of my boot, walk up, and try and stab him in the back.
okay. The target number you're trying to get on this is a 10.
And this is gonna. Okay, so I got. Perfect.
Nice.
I have a -1,
Oh my
but
god.
I hit 10 exactly with a jack.
All right. I mean, meat beats. So at this point, you can flip over your 3 cards in this case and pick the lowest.
From the fate
Oh.
deck.
Ah, ace.
Dang.
Na-
Dang. We really do play on
Nailed it.
extremes. Holy hell.
Nailed it. Queen, ace, and
You
king.
go the good cards.
Okay, that's going to deal a whopping 1 damage, but it looked cool. And that's all that really
But
matters.
one cool
Hey,
damage.
we're all about the flare up here.
Roller cool is half the battle.
You kick him right into the back, and you can hear like some of the breaking of wooden components kind of like on his arm. You're starting to see it like fray up a little bit and a little bit on his chest as well. But he is still kicking. Well, punching, I guess. You have 1 more action point that you can use.
Oh, yeah.
What if I just try and pick him up and throw him against a wall? I'm gonna avoid the knifing this time. Is a fully physical action option?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do that.
So you're trying to pin him against the wall. Let's call it. Well, what do you think? How are you approaching this? How are you trying to pin him there?
I'm gonna try and throw a perfect spiral like a football and just wing him into the wall as hard as I can.
You're not pinning him, you're just throwing him into the wall.
Yep, just throwing.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, throwing him into the wall.
yeah.
Yep,
You know what?
trying to get him to break apart.
I think that you might be trying to go a little graceful, perhaps.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe grace plus acrobatics.
Yeah.
I will say grace plus acrobatics against the defense of 10, and if you make it, this will deal 2, 3, or 4, dependent on damage severity.
All right. So I got a 9, and then with grace is 11, and with acrobatics is 12.
Okay, that makes it. You will be flipping 2 cards, taking the lowest for the damage.
And I got an 8 and the Black Joker. I am so
No.
good at
All
extremes.
So, because the Black Joker was drawn, you have to take the Black Joker no matter what. Even if you had all the advantage in the world, you would have to take the Black Joker. And I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but I just have to double check. Just to make sure. Ah, yes, damage dealt, none.
Dang.
Big surprise.
You kick him, and he goes a little bit higher than you were expecting and hits into a surprisingly springy object that someone brought as part of their cargo, springs him back and lands him suddenly and spontaneously just in front of you, standing on both feet,
Unharmed.
unharmed.
Lovely.
Healed even. No, not healed.
Lovely.
Healed even would be crazy.
With that, that is the end of your turn. Back up to the top with Shimoda.
I am going to. I liked my last turn so much. I'm going to do it again. Actually, since that one moved away from me,
Mhm.
can I charge it?
Absolutely.
And that's movement and 2 attacks, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I charge him. My first attack. I got the queen on the card, which is 12
Yes.
plus
So
3.
a lot.
So 15.
15.
But if I lie, then it's 16.
Oh, dude, everyone should do this.
Yeah, 15 total.
So with that, it'll be 2 flips.
Yeah, I really wanted to get 3 flips, but I didn't. Lowest is 6.
Lowest is a 6, which I need to double check, but I think you might have gotten into the medium bracket.
Wow.
It should be medium. I think it was 1 to 5 was low.
Yeah, 6 plus, and then 11 plus, I think,
Mhm.
for the last
Nice.
bracket. Yeah, nice. So 3 damage.
And which one were you going
That one.
after? The one that Celine kicked.
So that one already took 1, right?
Yeah, so that is a dead creature. Would you like to describe your murder?
I think I just kind of like when it bounces off the spring wall for no reason and lands back. I use the kind of like there's like a moment of between Celine and the puppet of like
The fuck?
what just happened, and I use that moment of to like just kind of sneak over and just cut it in half.
Yeah, easy enough.
And it's like the classic anime cut. So I come over and I cut it in half. And then by the time they get over there, what the fuck just happened? I do the fucking sheath the sword. And then when I
the
sheath
final
it.
click.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's what I do. But mechanically, I don't sheath it because I don't want to have to pull it out. But you get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I lose my 1 attack because now the other one's far away. Oh, wait, no, I don't. Wait, do I? Do they have to be melee attacks?
I believe so. Let me.
And walk is in yards, don't
Oh, I guess it
forget.
has to be the charge target, right? Anyway.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's.
So that will be my turn, I think.
Moves a number of yards, yada yada yada. Carrot must end movement, such that the target is within engagement range of one of her readied melee weapons. Yeah, it has to be
Okay.
melee.
So I cut it in half. I look really cool. And then I have my turn.
Sweet. With that, Mr. Jefferson.
I aim my pistols at the little man in front of me, and I fire.
All right. Bang bang.
King,
Nice.
which is 12, plus 5 for my sidearm, which is 17.
17.
If I did my math right there.
This is going to be the first instance.
That would be 18. Kings are 13.
Oh, that's 13?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
so
18.
18.
Okay. See.
This is going to be
Math
the
is
first
hard.
instance in
It's not
which
good
you
math.
are going to be able to make a damage flip without any negative modifiers.
So does
Now-
that mean we'll just flip 1?
You'll just flip 1.
Okay.
Now, because it doesn't have any negative modifiers anymore, you can cheat fate.
Oh, we can't cheat fate if it has a negative modifier.
No, from my understanding, no.
Okay.
So I have to take whatever I get.
But he could also use his focus to draw 2 if he wanted to.
Or you can try and
Oh yeah.
cheat fate.
Yeah.
Can I just use one of these?
You can draw and then decide after you draw to
Okay.
cheat fate.
Okay, so
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Just going to use that.
Nice. Dude, I love cheating fate.
Nice. So what is that one?
Bed King, so
Good
13.
king.
13.
13. That is going to be a severe. So
Mm-hmm.
how much damage are you dealing to this guy?
4.
4 damage. Would you like to describe how you kill this guy
Yeah, I
doubly so?
drop to my knees and get a better lineup because he's so tiny and I'm so tall.
Mhm.
Point my guns, boom. First one hits him in the hip. He goes down, looks up, right in his face. Pop. Head explodes. No more puppet. I stand up and I go, I am the puppet master. As I holster my revolvers.
Perfect. Holster. Oh wait, this is honestly really good because a lot of Malifaux is about just like kind of over the top personalities.
Mhm.
It feels like a Western mixed superhero kind of a movie where like specific people are just so them, you know?
Mm.
Yeah, holster away, and suddenly the train fills with silence once again.
Swain
What-
stands up and does a curtsy and says, "You're welcome for the assistance."
Is
Yeah.
there?
None. No assistance.
You
I
did
go
1
peek.
damage, and without that 1 damage, I wouldn't have killed it when I did. So I feel assisted.
Aw, I love the support. It's great.
Good job, team.
If I look around, do I see like? Because I know we mentioned that like everything's like all fucky wucky.
Mhm.
Can we see the cars in front of us? Like, I know they would be empty, but are they still there, or are we like the only train car left?
So looking ahead, it seems that the like windowed exteriors, it's not like it's this blue silver light is pressed up right next to the window. It seems that just outside the windows, kind of the world around the sky, the ground, everything seems to be that blue silvery light. So looking ahead, you can see the little windows showing that there are train cars ahead of you and behind you.
How much do we want to go explore other cars?
So I reload my weapons as I peek in the box and see what they came out of. Like I peek in the box that they exploded themselves out of.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You look in there and you see that there are, well, 3 specific little kind of like carved in locations where these puppets would have resided. As you like flip it up, you can see the partially torn image, almost like a poster, that is describing Sessa the Amazing, puppet master extraordinaire, in kind of like that old timey sort of a vibe. You're seeing like the red and white stripes on the side, kind of like some circus performance sort of a thing.
All right. Also, is anything of the old man's anything else where the old man was sitting? I peek at his seat. Anything else there?
Go ahead and give me a notice check if you have that. We're gonna say a
8.
cunning plus notice.
No cunning. So 8 and then
10.
10. Yeah.
Nice.
10. Looking around there, you can see it's almost as though, like, there is a surprising lack of anything about him there. There's not like fine dust or anything. He is just 100% almost like unmade. Gone.
And this luggage, these puppets were the only luggage he had.
Yeah, it was this one big case. Yeah.
I want to try and see if there's any like buttons or like hidden compartments on this case. If he's a magician, he's probably got something hidden. I would think.
Yeah. I'm gonna need another notice check from you. For you though, for getting 10, you do find another bit of guild script just kind of like tucked in under one of the seats.
I added to my stack of guild script I have.
All right.
8 total.
8 total. So you're looking around, and it doesn't take like a lot of searching. It's almost like you're seeing an arrow pointing to like this little lever. You just flip the lever, and the sidewall of the luggage compartment like flips inward, and you see a deck of these really cool playing cards just kind of sitting there.
I'm gonna pick them up and take a look at them.
They're like really, really cool. Gold edged.
Gold edge, neat face cards.
They
Neat
say,
face
they say
cards.
Necromunda on the back.
it's probably kind of hard to see the suit and the whole reason that we're not actually using them in our game right now. You know, something like that.
I think I'm gonna pick them up and throw them in my pocket for now.
Yeah, they're definitely ornate and can probably fetch a decent kind of a price.
Yeah, they're very pretty.
But you're not like holding these and like feeling powerful, if that makes sense.
No, they feel like just a normal deck of cards.
Yeah.
But a really cool. Yeah.
Normal deck of cards. Yep.
I'm going to go see if we can't get this train moving again, and then I'm going to start walking towards, I guess, where the conductor would be.
As you start moving in that direction, you... Hold on, sorry, I'm seeing the wrong passage here. You suddenly hear a scream.
Oh.
A man's scream coming from the car behind you.
And it's not because I pinched Jefferson.
Oh my.
We should probably look into that. And I turn around. Is that backwards from where I was going? Whatever. I go that way.
Yes.
Yes.
It seems to be coming from back.
The opposite of where the conductor
If you
would
had
be.
to estimate, though, I mean, you're all relatively smart individuals.
At least our characters
it's-
are. I am not.
That's what they tell me. I look.
It's coming from the direction of where they would have stored the convicts.
Slave labor. Yes.
Classic.
I draw
Okay.
my weapons.
Yeah, I too draw my sword.
I will ready my rifle. Are we gonna go check it out?
Seems
We
that way.
shouldn't, but we have to figure out why we're stuck in the void and on ways to die. This is low on the totem pole, so I want to get out of here.
Let's go.
Better to walk in foolishly than to be snuck up on.
Fair. Yep. All right, we're gonna go check it out.
Okay. You begin making your way to the back of this car when you realize that you are going to have to open the doors. Step into kind of like the emptiness a little bit as you step into the next car. Because this whole time you realize that you've had these windows and like the walls of the train car all around you. And as you get to the edge there, and I don't know if you open the door at this point, but just looking out, it's like there's a couple feet where it's just
Yeah, the in-between
Ether.
train cars.
Yeah.
I grab the other marionette that they stabbed, and I toss it across to see what
Oh,
happens.
smart.
Oh, smart.
Nice. Okay.
I was just gonna jump across.
I too. I was like, hey, fucking we ball.
Let's go.
You grab the marionette and you how are you doing this?
I am just gonna open the door and then yeet it, and then slam the door and see what happens.
Okay. Open the door, you yeet it, it hits the edge or like the closed door on the other side, and then just kind of like falls down, and as it falls past like the little standing platform at the either side of the train car, he collapses over, falls and falls and falls
So
and falls.
before he falls to his doom.
And then you see a tentacle reach up, wrap around him, and it disappears at that point.
Tentacle monsters. This
Kraken.
escalated quickly. Before he falls, did I see any damage? Did like any burnt edges, anything like happen to the marionette before it fell into the void of doom?
It doesn't look like it. Perhaps maybe the more magically inclined might be able to suss things out a little bit more.
Do we feel any pain or any issues from the as we open the door? Like anything, like any air rushing in?
No, you're not seeing any or getting any pain from that. It's just each time that you're like looking out kind of in the more void area, you just can feel that headache like creeping back in. It's not nearly as bad as the sudden pain that you felt when you first went through the breach, but as you look at the void more, it feels like that same pain is going to come back. Simply closing your eyes, looking at something else is enough to make it go away after a couple seconds, but that's probably the biggest issue.
Can I attempt to magically suss things out?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and do a...
Should I argue intellect sorcery?
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, intellect sorcery.
Neato.
Target number, before I can see what's going on there.
I already looked. I don't know why I have that.
Target number of probably an 8.
Oh, okay. I got 14 because I have 1 in intellect and 3
That's a
in
lot.
sorcery, and I rolled a 10.
That's a
Oh,
lot.
sorry, I flipped a 10.
with that, you
Unravel the mystery of the weave, becoming God.
you actually become a tyrant, and now you're the bad
I'm
guy.
evil. Suddenly.
You are kind of like feeling out the magics here, and this like space between dimensions, this void realm, if you will. It doesn't seem harmful, because if it was harmful, you'd probably be dead already.
Mm.
Feeling like the latent energies, you do feel that there's kind of just like generic magic kind of all around. But it's not enough to like cause burns or anything like that. What does concern you, though, is that tentacle thing that reached out from seemingly nothing and grabbed onto him. It seemed far, far down, but it does hint at creatures living here, and that it might be best to get this fucking train moving.
Is there any way to see if the lock is unlocked on the door before we jump in some form or fashion?
I think you're gonna have to step across and feel it before you're
Figure it
able
out.
to.
I think I'm just gonna go because it's usually like just a short hop between one train to the next, right? Like you just step.
Yeah, it's literally just a step. I'm not even gonna make you guys.
Okay, yeah,
Do-
I'll
do
go.
do we have anything? Should the train maneuver and shake and you fall, do you want to be tied to anything that we
There's
can?
usually handles on it's like the bar.
Is the
Yeah.
train moving? Or is it standing
Probably.
still?
It's standing still.
Still.
Oh, then I think we just walk across.
Yeah, I think
go.
I'll go try the other door, see if it's open.
Okay. You go to the other door. This train car, like the previous train car, nice benches, had area to store luggage and everything, windows to see outside. This one seems to be almost like a steel brick, and the door has more of like one of those blast windows, more than like a full-fledged kind of a window.
Prisoner style.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Going up to it, though, you do manage to turn this large handle, and you can hear a bunch of like mechanical whirring going on inside.
I draw my pistols.
Okay. And as you turn it, you hear the final as the door slides open.
I walk in.
It is dark in here.
I have dark vision. I'm just kidding.
However, you can hear. Well, from the door opening, light would be coming in now at this point, where you can see what seems to be the smoking corpse of someone in guild attire, slumped over at the edge of one of the walls of this train.
Yeesh.
From the other side of the train, if you walked in, the body's on the left. On the right hand side of the train, you're seeing, or you're hearing like chains rattling. And looking over, you can see one of these convicts who is currently has his hands chained to the floor. And he seems to be trying to reach out, trying to get to that guild guard. But his chains are just not letting him reach even close enough.
I'm gonna go try and go over to the guild guard and snag the keys.
I had the same
before
thought. Looking for
he-
these?
Yeah, until that way he's not like trying to drag him over with his toe or something stupid.
I asked the guy standing in the doorway with guns pointed at him
Yeah.
what happened.
Oh, what happened here, boyo? Well, that prick guardman tried to keep me chained, and seems to have found something out about myself.
So did you use lightning, flames? How did you kill him?
Will you tell me?
I wasn't here. You were the one who killed him. I was fighting
I'm
puppet monsters.
I'm new. What?
Yeah.
Sorry, the puppet monsters.
Yeah, we'll get to the puppet monsters in a second. It's a
Okay.
shitty day, my man. So how'd you murder him again?
Lightning, of course. Now, if you wouldn't mind getting me the keys, it'd be much appreciated.
Why should we release you?
Well, You all seem to be upstanding citizens. You wouldn't leave me to die here.
I
There's
do
your
try to
first
be-
mistake.
Well, perhaps I can just help. I'm assuming this train has stopped then?
What'd you do to get arrested? What's your crime?
Oh, I'm an innocent man.
And I'm the Virgin Mary. What's your crime?
I think at this point we should do a little bit of a social check of some sort. The way that I like to run games like these, where there's a bunch of different skills and it's kind of like a combination of like aspects and the skill value that you have, is I'm just going to say that I would like to do a social check of some sort, and you all can pitch me ideas about how you want to approach it. Do you want to approach it through like some kind of intimidation sort of a tactic? Or are you trying to maybe like sweet talk him? Like what is it that you're wanting to try here?
So I don't think we can intimidate a man who's chained up and just murdered a dude and who has discovered his magical powers. I don't think intimidation's gonna work. I'm just gonna say that. So I think we should just sweet talk and regular talk the man. It's gonna be our best bet.
Do we want to have so Celine has a trigger on leadership challenges. Does that include like, hey, we should all chat in the corner and figure out how we want to do this so we have that benefit, or is that the
You know what? I like that. I think here's how we can run that one. We do a leadership check that you make. We'll say target number 8 for that. And if you succeed on that, whatever plan, however you approach it, the target number will be 2 easier.
Okay. Does that work for you guys?
Yeah.
It works for me.
We gather in the corner.
We huddle, dude.
If you fail, though, it will be a little harder.
It's funny. We huddle. I love huddling in TTRPGs. Like we do it. I do it. All the time. Like it's usually just like this. Well, like some NPC will give us some choice, and I'll be like, 1 second, and then with the party, we'll be like, dude, and he's like right there. He's like,
Yeah.
dude.
Hang on.
You can literally hear
Yeah.
everything you're saying.
We'll be here 1 sec, Pesna.
Well, because the reason I ask too is it's got a trigger with the RAM and says after succeeding during an ongoing challenge, every other character participating gains plus card to challenge duels.
Actually, I like that. We'll call this an ongoing challenge. So how an ongoing challenge will work is that we need a number of successes overall in order to achieve some kind of an end. But there's also going to be a failure condition. So if you fail a certain number of checks, then you're not going to succeed in the ongoing challenge, of course.
Okay.
So let's call this a flat, we'll title it Sweet Talking Convict.
Mr. Lightning Man.
Yeah.
So we'll call it Sweet Talking Convict. And we're going to say it's a target number of 10. Number of successes is going to be 2. But number of failures allowed is going to be 1.
So on the second failure, we wipe. Or on the first failure, we wipe.
On the first failure, you wipe.
Okay. So no failures allowed.
No failures allowed. But
Cool.
target number 10? No, I told you 8, so it's target number 8.
Okay, so I have to draw a card, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is going to be leadership plus what kind of a aspect do you want to use on this? Charm, intellect, cunning, tenacity.
Let's use. I think I'm gonna do cunning and leadership because we're gonna have to kind of be a little sideways. If this guy's a convict, he may be a little smarter than he is putting off.
Yeah, I like it.
So cunning is 2, leadership is 3, and I got a 2. So that is a whopping 7.
But you could cheat it.
You might
Ooh,
need
I
to cheat
can.
this one.
Do I look at all 3 cards, or I just
You can
pick-
look.
Oh, yeah, you
this
can-
is your
you can look.
hand.
That's your
I
hand,
just like
yeah.
to have them like this
Oh,
because it makes
there
me
we
feel
go.
dramatic.
That'll give us a 12.
A 12. So I will go ahead and mark off that 1 success. What do you think you say to the group here? If you don't want to roleplay this, you don't have to. But
I think that Jefferson seemed to have a really good idea for what he was thinking in sweet talking. Did you have a specific concept you were thinking?
No, so I
Or
know
just-
what he did. So
So we got to figure out how to sweet talk him.
yeah, I will know what he did and why he's here before I trust him.
We also still have the bargaining chip. You did swag the keys. Like we could.
Oh,
leverage
you're
that.
right. I do have the keys, don't I? maybe we would, maybe we give him the option if he is willing to give us some information. We will unlock one of his wrists, keep him still chained up, and then if he provides us enough information to actually be useful, we can discuss whether or not we want to actually let him.
Just to clarify, this man just didn't murder someone with lightning powers.
But we can also shove him off a train, and he doesn't know that Cthulhu is sitting at the bottom of the void.
And it's also hard to use lightning powers with 2 bullets in your head.
Or
So
we
I
just,
still think.
or we just kill him down and keep on going.
Yeah, but he also has lightning powers. He could be helpful for us.
Okay. Let's figure out what he did wrong, though, first, before we decide to trust him.
I'm good with that. So we want to try and see if he'll give us information.
Yep.
At the benefit of potentially having one of his limbs unlocked. Are his
Nope.
feet chained?
His feet are not chained, but his the chain around his hands is not really enough where he can stand fully.
And it's to the floor, you
It's
said,
to the
right?
floor,
Okay.
Let's not unlock him at all until he gives us all the information. Because we have to it's risky to walk over there and touch him.
That's fair.
So let's
Yeah.
not do any NSA risks until he gives us all the information.
You want to try and see it? Okay. You want to try and see if you can get him to talk?
I thought this was what you were doing with the rolling of the things against him.
Oh, yes. You're right, because I have the keys. So, sir, what information are you going to give us? Because I have the keys, and I can always just throw them out into the void if you don't want to give us any information. Leave you here.
And with that, I'm going to need another social duel. So, at this point, it sounds a bit like Intimidate. Because you talked this plan out, I'm going to say that his normal 13 target number is going to be reduced down to an 11.
Okay.
But I could see, like...
Can we assist by looking really tough and menacing to her side while she talks? Like she's a mafia boss and we're the henchmen.
I like
Yes,
it.
I've always wanted henchmen.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just double check how one of these actions works. Interesting. Okay. I will say that each of you can then also add your intimidate
Okay.
to your intimidate skill.
I hope you
I
guys
don't
have
think
intimidate,
I was gonna say,
because I
think
don't.
I have intimidate.
I have Intimidate.
I don't.
Can I use my toughness skill since I'm saying they're looking tough like a gunslinger instead?
Okay. Yeah, I like
Okay.
it.
Can I also use toughness? I have magic tattoos. I'm sure they look tough. I look tough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll allow it. Okay.
Because I have toughness. I don't have intimidate. So
I think it's fun.
grasping
Yeah.
at straws. Yeah.
So does that mean? So can I use convince to try and? Does that help at all?
I think we could do convince.
Hooray, bartering.
Yeah, buddy.
So, what is your toughness?
2.
1.
So 3 plus your
Convince is 2.
convince is 2, so 5. And which one of the aspects are you using? Charm, intellect, cunning, tenacity.
And then I used cunning because I think we got to be sneaky with this guy.
Okay. Cunning of 2,
Two.
so that's going to be plus 7.
Yep.
If I'm mathing that correctly.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then I flip card.
Yep.
4. So I'd be 11.
11 exactly.
Yippee.
All right. With that, the ongoing challenge is complete.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you ask. Would you mind asking one more time?
Yeah. Can you give us what were you incarcerated for?
Oh, killed a man. Stole stuff. The usual. But I've no ill will against any of you. Against that prick. Of course I did. But I don't want to be here any longer than I need to. This place is giving me the creeps. I know when we jumped through, the only thing I could think is whatever it took to make this train stop. I guess I got my wish. I'm not liking how it looks out there. So, free me and we'll get this train moving.
So just one more question before we do. Why are you and the guard here and us 3 and no one else?
That's a damn good question. You think I know how any of this works?
Hell if I know. That's why I asked.
Mhm.
I simply wished upon a star, and here we are.
Did you actually wish upon a star? Did you see a star before you went through? You wished upon?
No, it's a saying. You know,
Okay.
you just make a wish, and most of the time, as a kid, you just wish upon
There's
upon
a
the star.
flying god up in the sky, so I just want to make sure you weren't talking to him.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, giving me the creeps. You know, last time he flew over London, it opened portals that caused torrents of water to flood most of the city,
That's fine. It's London.
along
Probably
with
help
like
clean it up.
leviathans that came through and are now terrorizing all of the oceans around Earth. This is actual lore, by the way. Just presenting it through character dialogue.
That's fine. It's London. No one cares. City smells, anyways.
Okay, so how do you guys feel about letting him? I mean, one final question. The guy that you killed to be arrested, what was your issue with him? Or was it just a random, you got an inkling and decided to...
Well, it was burglar in the place, and saw a witness, you know. So, but you guys seem cool.
How do we feel about it?
Are we huddling back together in the corner?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just one sec.
Yeah, hold on.
Pause. Pause, please.
I say we're sticking with us.
And maybe this is audacious of me, but like dangerous as he may be, I don't think he can take all three of us.
Yeah,
So-
Yeah.
I would agree.
Worst case scenario, we kill him.
Yeah, and all we gotta do is
We're
shove him
saying
out the
this
door.
whisperingly, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna shoot him. It'd be a lot easier.
I'm gonna hit him.
Picking him up.
Hit the group with one of these, and so that he can't hear because my hand's in the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like comically far away from your own
Yeah.
face, and
I'm trying to angle it so that like we're all covered by my one hand. And with any luck, you can actually get this train moving again.
Yeah, it'd be
So-
helpful. Yeah, especially with depending on how the train is run,
Mhm.
his electricity maybe. I'm good with that.
Okay, let's go.
All right, so we're gonna choose to unlock you, sir. But at the first sign of
Tomfoolery.
tomfoolery, that's it. So
I'll feed you to Cthulhu monster.
yeah.
all right, yeah. Cthulhu. I'm not familiar.
It's okay. It's okay. There's a giant monster underneath the train with tentacles eating
Well,
stuff.
then what are we waiting for? Let's go! And he's like trying to hold up his manacles.
I go and I unlock the manacles.
Stands up. All right, prepare to die. No.
I was about to say, finally! Zap, zap.
Pew pew.
All right. I mean, to the late train car then.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was my idea before we heard this guy scream. So I guess.
See if we can get started.
Yep.
Much like a JRPG overview map, everyone's just in line, cruising
So
their way
chibi
along.
figures.
Yes.
The ducklings.
When you get to the engine room, you're not accosted as you go along. It is kind of strange that the first and second train cars, the two that you haven't seen yet, also similarly, no one in there whatsoever. That conductor was going around helping people's luggage, not anywhere to be seen. There's no guild members around. But you make your way to the front of this train, the engine itself. Relatively small room, as most of these train engines are. You're not seeing anyone else in here either. What you do see, though, are a couple of shovels that have been, like, just scattered onto the ground. You're not sure if it's, like, what a sign of a scuffle or anything. They seem to have just, like, fallen to the ground. But you are seeing that there's, like, the main engine controls. There is a boiler area to start shoveling in coal. And looking at the main control panel, though, you are seeing, like, a few sparks kind of, like, jut out. And in a very non-OSHA compliant way, beneath the control panel, you're seeing all of, like, the gears and mechanisms that make the control panel run the train. So you don't have to, like, remove anything. But if you put your fingers in there when it starts moving, you would probably lose the finger.
Do we see any damaged gears or mechanisms?
So looking over it, it doesn't look too bad. It does take a couple minutes, but like looking down there, you do see that there's a couple gears that have been like misaligned. You're seeing that the boiler is completely cold, and the random sparks seem to be coming just from a couple loose wires.
So do I think it's sabotage? Sounds a bit like it. You've got random loose wires and things misaligned.
Question: is the train on tracks or just floating in the sky?
It's weird. You're in a weird place. There are no tracks,
Okay.
but presumably, like it's not like the train cars are like angled and it's just like floating in some kind of a weird formation. It seems to be like
It still feels like we're on track.
it still feels like you're on tracks, but they're not visible.
All right. So we have to get the train moving. I think you're right. Fix the wires. Fix the gears. Get the boiler going. Probably want to fix the wires and the gears first, then the boiler, and then hopefully the train goes in the right direction and not into Cthulhu monsters.
You're seeing the convict going around and just kind of like going up to the control panel and hesitantly just like flicking a switch back and forth.
Do you know what you're doing? Or are you just flicking switches?
Oh, I've worked on these all my life.
So I have an engineering of 2, so I want to see if I can work with you as the convict and see if we can get this train up and running.
Yeah, of course. You know, we got the go forwarder there.
Doctorate in bullshit. Got it.
Can I use my scrutiny to scrutinize what he's saying to see if he's lying to us?
Yes, absolutely.
I think he's lying to us.
Oh, I know
he
he's lying
said
to
go
us.
forward.
The red jack. Is that auto success?
That is an auto success
Oh,
in the
nice.
best possible way.
Wait, I thought it was a red Joker.
Sorry. Yes, it is the red Joker. That's the best success on.
That's a
the
jack, not a
success on
joker.
best.
My
Yeah.
bad.
No, that's my bad. They're the same in my brain apparently.
Yeah, my brain too.
They both start with J, man. Like, it's hard.
Oh, yeah.
So with that, you got a 10 at least. So
Scrutiny of 2.
Okay, so 13.
he is
13.
Yeah.
he is full of shit. He does see some level of recognition that like this probably was him doing this, but again through that weird wish upon a star nonsense.
You know, lie to me. Buy me a beer first.
Well, when we get to Malifaux, then I'll get you a beer.
Okay, but tell them, don't lie to me. Again, buy me a beer first before you lie to me.
Sure thing. I'm loaded.
All right. Well, I guess I'm going to do this. Do either of you have the ability to assist in this, or am I just going to attempt to fix this train all
I have
by myself?
explosives. I can.
Okay, not
Yeah.
necessarily the first choice.
I can
Might
do-
be our second choice.
I can give you an extra pair of hands. That's about all I got.
While
There
they do this,
is
I'm gonna grab a handful of
Cole?
coal and start throwing it in front of the train to see if there's anything like any solid ground.
you have to kind of like awkwardly lean out the window and yeet it. A tentacle lashes out, grabbing onto it and pulling it back. The tentacle seems much closer.
Sick.
I let them know this and say we need to hurry.
Yeah, stop pissing off the tentacle monster.
Feeding
All
it,
right.
not pissing it off.
This is going to be a much longer ongoing challenge. This one is called Restart the Train. Skills allowed are athletics, engineering, and sorcery. Target number of 8. And I need 2 successes per fated, which is what you are. So that is a total of 6 successes. If you get 3 failures, then perhaps the void is where your story ends.
Dang.
Right, and
So-
so it's all of our skills together, right? And it
Yeah,
was-
so you're going to be making separate checks until you get 6 successes, and I'll try and flavor it as best I can.
Okay. So you said the allowed skills were.
Athletics, engineering, and sorcery. But, as always, I'm a generous god. Fate Master, technically, is what I'm called. I'm a generous Fate Master. If you have other pitches, I'm more than happy to hear them.
I think I want to try to use sorcery to like attempt to counteract the Wish Upon a Star part, particularly the part about like the lightning arcs, since that seems to be most directly tied to our favorite convict. I'm gonna see if I can't like use my own sorcery skills to undo the wiry fuckery that happened.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and make the poll.
That'd be sorcery and
Intellect, I think, would work best for this.
So are you talking like the broken gears and wires?
yeah.
So can I use my engineering skills to assist him?
Yeah,
Kinda tell me like how it should look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm going to say that's going to be a separate draw.
Okay.
Okay. So I will reset sorcery and intellect.
Yeah.
Okay, I got 9 on the thing. That's plus 4 is 13.
13. Definite success. You're able to kind of grab onto the latent strands of magic around you and use that to kind of like it almost feels like you're actually like stitching the magic back into the board, and as you are like feeling that kind of emotion, the wires themselves seem to like slot in, and the electricity that's sparking off seems to dissipate.
Neat.
That is 1 success, and now if you would like to use engineering.
Yeah. So I want to take a look and make sure it's all wired correctly and that the gears are where they need to be to potentially try and start this train.
Okay.
Sure.
I think then engineering and intellect.
Sure. So I have engineering of 2, intellect of 1. What's the hit score?
Target number 8.
And will it be 8 for this entire?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So 7. So I got 10 total.
Nice.
10 total. It doesn't take too much. I mean, you do kind of have to like muscle one of the gears and kind of like smack it a little bit to get it to slot in properly. But you manage to align them correctly, making sure that like, you know, the small gear goes where the small gear goes, large gear goes where large gear goes, things like that.
Square gear. It goes into the square hole.
Yeah. A square gear.
A metal gear.
Solid? Jefferson, what would you like to be doing?
We need to get this train boiler going. So I'm gonna use all my muscles, and I'm gonna grab a shovel and get the
Okay.
boiler going. I'm gonna start loading because the first thing you gotta do is load coal in there to get the fire going. So load some coal.
Okay. Yeah, let's say athletics probably.
Can
with
I
this.
use my toughness of my strength? Because I am tough, and tough men lift heavy things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what is it? Tough and might, or
I only have toughness, so I have might.
it's you would use one of the skills and then one of the attributes up here.
Oh, I would.
Yeah.
Shoot.
It would be
Tough and
a
might
net
cancel each
even.
other out.
You could,
It's probably for the best.
or it would. I don't know. You could maybe argue resilience or tenacity to represent like grit.
My tenacity. My city cowboyness. I'm so.
I'm gonna say resilience because resilience is a physical
My resilience
aspect.
is 0.
Damn.
So
It's a plus
it's
0.
it's less that you're like muscle manning it, and more that you are just kind of like without a break
I'm a
shoveling coal.
dancer. Can I use a jig as I do this? Use my ballerina skills, my ballroom dancing skills.
I'm gonna say no for that one, just for this one check. Maybe next time.
Okay. Oh, that's a fail. How many fails are we allowed?
1 per, right?
1 per,
3
so
total, yeah.
3 total.
I'm just gonna. I need an 8.
An
right?
8, yeah.
All right, I'll burn my 7 in here, plus my 2 makes it 9. So I barely passed.
Okay, awesome. So you do manage to throw that down, or like continue shoveling in.
Mhm.
And at this point now, the boiler is pretty well stocked with coal. What would you all like to do now?
Have to light the boiler. You have to get the fire going.
Can I try to use sorcery to light it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Cool. I'll just sorcery and intellect again.
Okay, first before we start this train, who in the world is going to drive it?
I mean, it's on tracks, right? Just
You
you flip to go forward and it go.
There you go.
It doesn't have a steering wheel, so It's forward or
We're
backwards.
just along for the ride. Okay.
That is a queen, which is 12.
Yeah.
Plus
Mhm.
my 4 is 16.
Yeah.
I super succeed.
Do you want to describe how the sorceryness looks?
I don't know if there's. Oh wait, no, I have tattoos. I think how it looks is that like I start to like think really hard, and then you see like the tattoos. I kind of just seem like inky like line art that kind of shifts, so it's hard to like really get a focus on what it's supposed to be. It kind of takes the as I start to cast, as it were. It starts to take the look of flames on my arms, and then like I get flames on my arms, and then I kind of just channel it to the boiler to get the coals going. That's what I do.
Like each coal chunk of coals seems to start glowing that like orange kind of light as it is beginning to burn. With that, you have 2 successes left.
Yes. Yippee.
So, what would each of you like to do?
I would like to hit the go forwarder.
Okay,
And see if we can start moving forward.
that sounds like engineering to me.
All right. So I got 2 and 8, so 10.
Nice.
All right, you hit the go forwarder, and you can kind of start seeing like puff of smoke come out from the lead engine. Another 1 puff of smoke. It seems to be having some kind of issue continuously boiling. How do fucking engines work, man?
So it's steam. So you light a fire.
Yeah, so
The fire will heat up the water. The water creates steam, and then move the pistons and the gears.
Compression.
And
and
compression.
then that's getting it all
Science.
going. So it seems to be just kind of like intermittently getting enough
So one of the-
pressure in those pistons.
So is it low on water, you guys think?
I check the water. Is there agua in there?
I mean, similar to checking oil in a car, like dipstick pull out. It seems to be a little bit low on water.
Is there a water like
Sure, we can
tank
check.
on? Is there a water tank? Because usually there's like a coal truck. Is there a water thing connecting it?
There is.
Mm.
It does seem to be further back behind the convict car, though. Not very well designed.
Yeah.
Okay, so how much? The question is, how much water do we need? Do we just go see if we can find enough water bottles to fill?
I was thinking,
fill
like,
this
in the
thing?
luggage.
Or,
Yeah.
or do we have to turn a valve? And so
Ooh.
how is water getting in the tank? Does it look like pipes or something running along the train?
I'm going to need an engineering check to see.
Okay, it's gonna be great.
We're gonna go to the water valve, and it's gonna be like
4.
no.
I don't have an engineering check.
Oh, did he say 4? He meant 8.
8. Oh, whoa. How'd you do that? It does appear that there are like a series of pipes kind of leading underneath the...
You don't draw after you use it.
Oh, I don't.
Sorry,
oh,
no.
oops.
You'll
That was
get
my fault.
whenever you hit a like your condition to draw a card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's when you would...
Yeah.
you
My
would
bad.
draw it.
Yeah,
No,
no
you're
worries.
good. You find out that it's like a series of pipes, and actually between the couplings between the different cars, it's this kind of strange
Mhm.
contraption that like helps route the water through while still allowing it to like curve around bends.
Okay.
And following that back up to this engine, you do see a valve kind of in an awkward place, like up next to the door. But by all means, that should be the water inlet.
Is it at all reachable by magic that you have the ability to telekinetically turn on?
Oh,
Or
you can
do
like reach up and grab it. It's not like high up. I mean, the train car is like small in all
So
dimensions.
reach up and open valve.
So we just have to all go take a walk.
No, it's like in the main engine car.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yep. So I reach up. I just open the valve.
Reach up, open the valve. As the train seems to, on no visible rails, progress forward through this void, and it takes maybe like a solid 10 minutes until you can see a similarly shimmery blue wall that this train seems to be going directly into. The train continues to approach this shimmery portal until suddenly you feel yourself being rocked forward as the train comes to a sudden stop. As a hand pulls down on the go forwarder. Well, look, I know you all will turn me in, and I can't let that happen.
What if we promise not to do that?
Oh, you're gonna have to be pretty goddamn convincing then. Probably some kind of a social check.
Look,
What if we pinky swore?
Well, we're gonna have to see the results of maybe a social check.
can we try to talk it out, or still have to roll a check?
The check is going to be talking it out,
Okay.
but I am open to hearing what
Okay.
you guys would like to
I'll
say.
go. I got this.
Okay, because if you guys do say like some key things, then it might be a little bit easier of a check.
Right, so, look, man. The whole plan of Malifaux is to start over. Brand new world. I don't care how you got magical powers. I don't care that you killed the guy. In the grand scheme of things, I've killed more people than I want to care about. So you're going to go back there. When you get your change of clothes, you're going to change. When you come back here, I'm going to flip the switch. And then when to roll on through, and we're all going to go start our lives. We all go together. We all start a new life in the new world. If anyone asks, Magic Cthulhu monsters and Portal took everyone out. We don't know what happened. We just resaw the train and kept going.
I do want to like kind of lean him, like grab him by the shoulder and kind of lean in, so like only he kind of hears me. I kind of want to speak in a hushed tone, and I want to say, I am also a member of the 10 Thunder Syndicate. I cannot turn you in without risking myself, so I am not inclined to do so.
Interesting. I really like all of that. I'm going to say one check from one person with instead of a target number 13, it's going to be a target number 9.
Oh,
Nailed it.
easy.
Boom.
Oh, damn.
They call it Smoothie King for a reason.
All right. Yeah.
All right, now go get changed. Find some clothes. Come back.
Yeah. Find some clothes.
There's clothes in the boxes. Go lose some shit. Got 5 minutes. Grab clothes. Come back. We click to go forward. Be quick. Giant tentacle monster looks close, and I'm not dying by tentacle monster.
He rushes back quickly, changes his clothes. He finds just a standard, like, steampunk-looking jacket to go over, just like some white undershirt, new pair of pants and everything. Shoes are a bit tight, but it'll work. Yeah. No train, so I'll go ahead and do this part as he pushes forward on the go forwarder.
That's line number 2. You owe me 2 beers now.
I mean, technically, he's not lying. He did know the go forwarder does go forward.
Yeah,
So
I guess
One
that's
and a
fair.
half beers.
A beer and a shot.
Done.
Once I start making script, you've got it. As again, you are then plunged into the portal. This time it feels a little bit more, I'm not going to say refreshing, but that ache that you've had in your head seems to kind of dissipate as you've now left this void realm. And the train doesn't seem to have as much speed as you were hoping for. But as you come out of the portal, you can see a very similar kind of a setup as when you entered the breach initially. The same kind of large steampunk machines around the edges of the portal. And you actually see a guild member hop aboard the train. It's going slow enough that he's able to hop on, no issues. Hey, right then. You're a bit late, and you're not the usual crew. What happened?
I kind of just want to explain what happened, but without any of the personal parts, right? So we flew through, got stuck. Everyone was gone except for us and this guy. So we all just kind of like got the engine working again, leaving out the part with the lightning guard.
Mhm.
Leaving out like the I guess that's really the only part that we have to leave out, right? Like this, like that he's a convict at all. We all like using the power of friendship, got the engine working again, and now we're here.
Okay. I'm gonna need you then to give me a roll of some sort.
Can I? Ooh, wait, this is perfect. Can I use deceive and cunning?
Absolutely.
Nice. I have twos
I'm
in
gonna
both.
say target number 8.
Okay. I got 15.
15. Weirdly enough, that does it.
It makes sense to me.
He's like, all right, yeah. I mean, we do need to go through the standard guild questionnaire, kind of making sure that it wasn't some kind of a guild failure. Can't have the train disappearing all the time,
That
but
makes
it does
sense.
happen all the time.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we'll get you all squared away and on your way. Oh, welcome to Malifaux. And that is where we're going to end our little adventure.
Yippee! That was fun,
That was
dude.
fun.
I
I
really,
like it.
I like
enjoyed
this game.
it.
This game's really cool. I feel like it's a really weird, but like decent balance of having like your basic abilities and then having like special bonuses if you get like certain suits, as well as being able to cheat fate. And then like kind of like you said, like the ability to draw more cards is usually tied to like when you're failing, so you
Mhm.
can like it kind of helps you avoid like we've seen a lot in other games where like Misty's super fucking unlucky, and so
Yeah.
she rolls low a lot. So I think of her when I read these. I'm like, oh, she would be able to like come
Actually,
back.
yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. That was fun.
Yeah, from a personal perspective, someone who hasn't played a lot of, and by that I mean twice, I have done RPGs over like a decade. So as someone who doesn't have that experience, doesn't have that knowledge, I found it far easier to follow and enjoy than I would have expected. I figured I was going to be asking constant questions or whatever, trying to figure out the mechanics, and really just enjoyed actually being able to get into the game and play it versus having to continually pop out of character essentially. I think it's great for a beginner game. I mean, I could see where it would be really good for people who have done this for years and really enjoy the RPG and the world building and things like that. But even for a beginner, was very much enjoyed. We'll absolutely play again.
I agree. I'm a fan of Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. And this is a very simple RPG. It does not require like 17 hours of prep.
Mhm.
I rolled in running late, and it was still fun. I mean, it might be 17 hours of prep for you.
Yeah.
As a player, I just rolled in, and it's easy.
Yeah, that's a good point. And like the attributes and skills are like really easy to read, and it's not like if you're used to D&D, you're used to saying like your number and then the modifier, but it's really easy because it's just a modifier, right?
Mhm.
And so you flip 8, you add 2, you add 1, and then you're at 11, and
Yeah.
then it makes like the checks go really fast.
Yeah, agreed.
And that's a good point too, because D&D is what I've played in the past, and it's not that it's not a fantastic game, but it's complicated.
Mhm.
And so it just took a long time for me to just understand the mechanics and stuff. So it was harder to get in. Where, like you said, this is much easier.
Yeah.
I like the advantage disadvantage system.
Mhm.
It can stack positively or negatively up to 3, I think,
Nice.
which makes it kind of fun. The system itself, it's kind of easy. I do enjoy systems where I don't have to roll or draw or do anything. I can just put all of that on you. So then my bad luck doesn't matter.
I do enjoy that, like being able to like have a defense / willpower stat and kind of like have that be like because I can directly affect my defense. I can't directly affect the enemy's random attack stat, right?
Mhm.
So being able to make myself tankier or willpowerfuler as I progress seems like more player agency, which I enjoy.
Yeah. I do think that the skills that they have are interesting enough. There are quite a few skills, but I don't think it's too bad as far as like the number. It's not like Pathfinder First Edition where there's
Not
40.
so many where it's like paralyzing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The character creation, because I gave you all pre-generated characters, but just a little talk about the character creation. It's all kind of randomized. When we do character creation, we would all kind of come together and draw from the fate deck, and that will help us assign where certain points go, or how many skill points you have, which I think is fun. And then it also, at the same time drawing these cards, assigning these skills, you get parts of your destiny. So each of your characters has a destiny written on their character sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And if we were doing like a longer kind of a campaign, each step in the destiny that's written out for you. So for instance, Thomas Jefferson Washington, your destiny is, if you are unmourned by the Father, your journey will never begin, and the Reaper walks the path alongside you. At last you will sacrifice her on the altars of desperation, and you seek the sound of your last breath. Each segment of that is what's called a destiny step. And me, as the Fate Master, I would take each of your guys' destinies and kind of add that in to our campaign. And at each step, you can kind of like lean into the destiny, completely refute the destiny. But no matter what happens, each step that you get additional experience points, kind of leading to more like you're following your destiny, your fate, more or less, which I think is pretty fun. As far as the book goes, just put how the fucking game works at the beginning.
Is that what they did?
No.
Is it 17 pages of text and lore?
So it starts off with a from the beginning all the way through to page. Hold on, I'm still flipping through here. Sorry, page 37. All of that is just initial lore, and then after that they jump into character creation without mentioning how the game works. So as I was reading through this, I was like, oh yeah, you just add, a card symbol plus on it. And because I played Malifaux before, I kind of knew what that probably meant. But for someone new reading this,
I'd be screwed.
yeah, like I don't know what the fuck
Why
that
is there a
means.
card symbol? Like,
And it's not until page 300 something
holy hell.
that you finally start seeing how the fucking game works. So
Oh, I don't like that at all.
Yeah, I do agree. We kind of like, in a lot of our reviews, a lot of the hits are for like book design.
Yeah.
And I kind of agree. Where I feel like, I think in my perfect book design, it would be, you get like 1 or 2 pages of like a quick TLDR, like this game is like high fantasy, blah 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 blah,
Yeah.
like short backdrop, and then it's like, then you get into like the mechanics of how the game works. That way the player can see if it's something they like, because like maybe you're super into rolling dice and you don't want to flip cards. You would want to know that before page 300.
Yeah.
And then after you've explained how the game plays, you can then get into like the setting and the like character creation and stuff like that. But
yeah.
I agree, like the how it works should be pretty far in the front, in my opinion.
A bit annoying with that. But I do really like how the bestiary is laid out. Because the bestiary is similar to your guys' pre-generated characters, where you have like this little card here that shows all of the information that you need. Similarly, each of the bestiary things have all of the information that you need, all listed out in the exact same kind of a way. I think that's fun. The other thing that we didn't get to play around with were pursuits. So, for instance, Mr. Thomas Jefferson Washington himself, you were on the pursuit of the gunfighter. At the beginning of each session, we would normally be able to pick what kind of a pursuit we want to do. Do we want to be an overseer and try and kind of like be more of a supporty sort of a role? Do we want to do this? Do we want to do that? And following these pursuits, the more that you choose them, the more new shit that you unlock. So there's kind of a cool balance where you can be a jack of all trades, where you get like the initial skill of a bunch of different pursuits, but you don't get those really juicy like end talents and feats. Yeah, I think this one is gonna need another more
Another playthrough.
in-depth
Yeah, it does sound
playthrough.
really cool, both in like concept and progression. So, but even just this like intro was also really fun to play.
This be a game I could actually play if I had the time in life to go play a full campaign of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this seems really cool, and the setting does seem really cool. Like,
The setting is fucking wild, and
Yeah.
I'm like really hype about
Yeah,
it.
I've
Now
only-
I understand why Owen loves this fucking game.
Oh, you talked to Owen about Malifaux, and he just won't stop. Very un-Owen-y, but he loves Malifaux. I understand why he loves Malifaux.
yeah, I mean, like we said early on, Damien and I have played like the war game twice, but even just by playing it and flipping through some of the books, like the factions look really like so many, like the models are really cool. Like so many things about it are just really really cool and interesting.
It's more layered than I would have expected. Like you have, like you said, you have the 5 different pieces for the destiny, and you have the different paths,
Yep.
and you have this, and you have this, and so it's like it doesn't. It sounds like it would be incredibly difficult to make, barring human thought process, would be really difficult to make the same game twice,
Yeah.
the same campaign twice,
Yeah.
which is super super cool.
I also really like you. I think you did a really good job of giving us like kind of the premise of like the story so far
Mhm.
before we started playing. I thought that was really cool too to hear
Mhm.
about like kind of the history and how like Malifaux started.
Like it's both a negative and a positive that it has 30 pages of lore before you even start getting into the actual book. Yeah, because reading through that, I was just like, wait, what the fuck? Wait, no, what the fuck? Conspiracies?
I want to just go read the lore now.
I was gonna say I would
mean,
read a Malifaux book, like just like a fantasy book
Yeah.
about any faction.
Do they have
Yeah.
novels?
I hope so. I'm not sure.
If they do have novels, we'll make a note of it in the episode description. Thank you, editor.
Mhm.
But yeah, with that, I mean, are there any final thoughts before we wrap this thing up?
No.
No,
All
I've
right.
used all my thoughts.
Once again,
Go to
thank
Nova.
you both for coming. And
Mhm.
yeah,
come see
Plug
us
away.
over Labor Day weekend. It's gonna be a great
Mhm.
time.
This will be the biggest year we've had Nova. So self-plug for Nova, right? Come to Nova Open. It'll be fantastic. We are a family-friendly con, so people of all ages.
And we do have children's events.
yeah, isn't there like a kids hammer for the war game?
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
nice.
several Kids Hammer events actually this year. There's, I think, almost a dozen different children's labeled events. So, Joe's even children's RPGs.
Yes, there are. I can't watch my mouth. I'll curse like a sailor. So I'm not running any of them. But there are like a bunch of really, really good game masters running all sorts of different like kid-friendly stuff, or just even other RPGs. I know that I think they're going to be running Alien again this year, and Blade Runner, a few of those kinds of games. So
We do have paint and take style things
Yeah.
as well with Hobby Haven, Army Painter, where you can pick up a model. All the paints are provided, all the tools are provided. You can just come hang out, paint. There's all sorts of different things. It's a really, really cool event.
It really does feel like there's something for everyone at Nova. There's so much to do. It's sick.
We strive to be not just another 40K tournament.
yeah. And I think it definitely does. There's also like vendors there as well. with
Lots of
all
vendors
sorts
We're
selling
going to have
all.
a lot more vendors this year.
Really?
We're spamming them in there.
Nice.
Vendors, demos. And then we also have just a board game area where you can come rent board games. They do at least last year they did a Wingspan tournament, where you can just come rent games, play, with your family, with your friends, with just a group of people.
And the board game room doesn't close. That is starting at, I want to say, like noon Wednesday to like 5 p.m. or something on Sunday. It's
Oh, wow.
24/7 board games.
Nice.
Was it always 24/7?
Yeah, it's always been 24/7.
Wow.
We
I didn't
stole
know
that
that.
from Captain Con. Shout out to another cool con up in Rhode Island, which is our sister con. They started that 24/7 board games, and we copied that. And there was people that would be there till 4, 5, 6 in the morning,
Yep.
just playing board games.
Cool.
Yeah, and that board game library, because I know we played, I think
We
we
played a
played
good-
like King of Tokyo
Yeah.
and Final Girl. But yeah, there's like a huge collection there.
We
It's a lot of
hit
fun.
over 1,000 this year, and there's more coming because every year people send us stuff and contracts and vendors, different things. So
Mhm.
Nice.
we're probably gonna have a couple thousand more in another year or two.
Nice.
It's actually terrifying. How many board games
It's
we
cool to
have.
see Nova grow so much
It
because
is.
because such a large portion too does go to charity. Like
Mhm.
it's It's both cool selfishly because I just like Nova, but
Mhm.
it's also cool heartwarmingly because I know like
Yeah.
charities are about to go crazy. You know what I mean?
So,
So it's like
you know, we talk about growth of Nova. The first Nova in 09 was 60 people in a park in Vienna. Vienna, Virginia, not Vienna, Austria. Would be cooler, but then 2010 we did it at the Dallas Expo Center, and that was like 300 people. And then we did it for another year, and then 2012 we did it at the Hyatt, and we had like 600 people, and we thought we were the coolest people in the world for 600, and now we're at thousands, and it's like, oh god, what have we done?
Yeah, it must be like a bittersweet because I know it's a lot of work going
Yeah.
into it, but
It's we don't pay anyone, everyone, volunteer staff, but it's a lot of people's second job, more or less, unpaid second job.
mhm.
And if you're looking for volunteer opportunities, please feel free to reach out. The information's on the website. We can always use good people, good hands. So
yeah, we'll have the website too in our
Yeah.
all of our description and footnotes wherever we write all the stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, thanks again, guys.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you
for
guys.
showing
thanks so
up.
much for having
Yeah.
us. It's been a lot of fun.
This was a
fun.
blast. Yeah.
Do this again same time next year?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, probably.
yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what game we'll do next year.
I don't know because I'm thinking like for 2026 Nova running through the breach because I mean I like it so far.
It's fun, it's different, and like they both said, it's easy to pick up, so there wouldn't be a lot of like how to play. It'd be
Yeah.
like, here's your draw a card.
Yeah.
You're playing now.
Mhm. Yeah. And you don't have to have like a stack of dice or
Yeah.
because some like I said, I'm not a gamer typically outside of console. And so I wouldn't have to worry about like making sure I had dice and making sure I had,
Mhm.
the markers and the measure, the rulers and things like that. I
Mhm.
could just, worst case, I could pick up a pack of cards at
Yeah.
Target and, call it a day type thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Do note that on that line, if you are interested in the RPGs, I know that we provide all of the supplies, but I'm pretty sure that every
Yeah, I think most of,
game
if not
master-
all, the GMs typically have everything you need, so you can just
So
like show
full
up.
Nova's RPGs, if you're playing the one-offs or anything, everything is provided to you when you arrive.
Yeah.
Yep.
You just gotta bring yourself.
Yep.
And your snacky snacks.
Yep.
Everything else is provided for the RPGs. Other events are different, but
Mhm.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's not like they're
Pull
gonna
up to
be-
Warhammer, they're gonna be like, here you go.
Yeah, here's your full 200
Full painted army.
2,000 painted.
I wish.
God.
That would be crazy.
Now we do have demo games. On that note, though, there was a lot of demo games. There was almost 24 demo games this year from different
Nice.
vendors, and they'll have everything for you. Just roll up in demo. But
Yeah, I played a few last year when I was there.
Yeah.
Fallout, Black Powder, Red Earth was there. There was even a small demo for Trench Crusade.
Yeah, they had the one like Halo kind of a war game.
Yeah,
that was
That was
kinda
demoing
interested in.
that.
They did Arena Rex, which I enjoyed.
Oh yeah.
I love
Yeah.
Arena Rex.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, don't forget that you all stink.
It's
like
actually
shit.
pretty bad. You should do something about that.
Yeah.
I can smell you through my headset, and you're not even listening to this yet. It's pretty bad.
Your stink transcends space time.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyways, deuces.
Thank you.
See ya.